My name is Mark Johnson. I went to Parkway Central, class of 1978. I graduated, and from there I went to, did a junior college stint for a couple of years. Didn't quite sure what I wanted to do, but in 1979 I finally decided I wanted to be a police officer. And once you decide, you kind of go whole hog. So I went to CMSU and got my degree in criminal justice. And from there I moved up to Kansas City, where I met my wife actually in the summer between one of my years, and we ended up getting married at the tender age of 23, and pretty much made my home in Kansas City.
And so then after that, how did being a policeman help you to further your careers to where you are now?
It's kind of wild because I'm kind of a closet geek back in those days. You know, you didn't tell anybody you did computers or fix them or could build them and stuff because you were a police officer. So in 1999, a friend of mine said, "Hey, did you know when something is deleted off a computer, it doesn't really go away?" And I thought that was absolutely incredible because I've been building computers for years and never heard of that. So started checking into this thing called computer forensic analysis. Found it was really big on the East and West Coast, and found some classes to go to and took some classes and took a few more classes. And in about 9 months, I felt like I was at a position that I could actually give something back to the department, and I was afforded the opportunity to start the computer forensics section within the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department, which I did. I did computer forensics that first year. I think one commander was just sure I wouldn't do more than a couple of cases and I'd be completely bored because Kansas City doesn't have computer crime. I think he was wrong. I did 42 cases in 11 months, and that was prior to 9/11. Just after 9/11, I was actually hired away by a company who makes computer forensic software, and actually taught for a year in Virginia. Moved my family there. My wife's great. She followed me there with the kids. But after a year, I realized I'm more of a hands-on person. I really like doing the work. Teaching's great part-time, but I like doing the work. So I came back to Kansas City, where the United States Attorney offered me a job. And from there, I helped build the first computer lab in Kansas City. It's called the Heart of America Regional Computer Forensics Lab. We just use RCFL for short. But that has been probably a godsend. I've really been blessed because I've spent the better part of the last 8 years in the lab, left for a couple of years for the private sector and didn't care for that. And so I've been up there 6 of the last 8 years. And what we do is we do computer forensic analysis on any computer that comes in from a law enforcement agency from the entire state of Kansas and from 2/3 of Missouri. So if there's a crime with a computer involved in it, it'll come to us. We can find the deleted information, the hidden information, we can do timeline analysis, and all in trying to put a good case together for the prosecutor to prosecute from. And even occasionally we help exonerate people, because sometimes it's not the person people think it is, and the computer information will tell us that as well. So been a great ride so far.
That's fantastic. Did something in Parkway help spur you on to have the ability to use computers that might have planted a seed for you to go this route?
You know, it's funny, maybe you say that, because in high school, in my sophomore through my senior year, I was in audiovisual. And back then we really didn't have computers. It was, I think the first computer actually came out in our senior year, which is 1978, and it was an Apple II Plus. And one of my friend's fathers bought one, and we had a ball playing on it, but you just couldn't foresee, obviously, where that technology was going to grow to and the abundance it's grown to today. But I'd like to think that working with the technological aspect of audiovisual and getting in and using soldering irons and liking the electronic circuit boards, that was always fascinating to me. In fact, I actually considered a career for a short time in some type of a camera work, behind the scenes type thing, but law enforcement grabbed me pretty hard and didn't let go. So.
What in your background do you think, whether it was with school or family or home, helped you to want to be a police officer and give you that kind of dedication?
You know, I've always, in high school, I didn't do things wrong. I didn't drink. I didn't stay out late and get in trouble. I didn't do drugs. I was very anti-drugs in every case. I just didn't see the knowledge, or I shouldn't say the knowledge, but the sense in it. It just seemed stupid to me. So I kept a pretty clean record. And actually, what actually really spurred me to be a cop was right after my senior year, I worked at a go-kart track where we had an off-duty cop, and he started telling me some of the stories they did. And I thought, what a great job. You know, I was an athlete in high school. I was in good physical condition. Here you don't have to sit at a desk. You can help people. You can go out there and create a difference and run after bad guys. And I just thought it was fantastic. So I was pretty much hooked by that point. And I was raised right, too. I had good parents. Both my parents lived together my entire life and set a good example, Christian home. So, and I had 4 sisters that, of course, kept me grounded as well.
Absolutely. Well, did any of this, I know you're an athlete when you were in high school, did any of the coaches help give you that structure maybe that helped you continue to do good things?
Looking back, I'd have to say, and since we've talked briefly, I'd have to say that from the athletic standpoint, the structure you get in general with athletics is a good thing, because they treat you responsibility and discipline and trying harder for something that you don't think maybe you can do. But as far as an audiovisual or more of a technology standpoint, Miss Pfaff was actually pretty good. She was the drama teacher back then, and I was in a number of the productions. I was a stage manager in one, and I actually worked backstage, which is really what I like to do, was the backstage work. And so I was actually in charge of sound, and Sue Wood was in charge of lights. So that was actually kind of my first foray into having some responsibility along those lines. So I think both of those aspects helped me out a lot.
What would you offer as advice to current students in the Parkway District to help them stay grounded, responsible with their education, and seeking to succeed in a career later on?
Live by one rule first. I've always told my kids this growing up too, I don't want to die because I did something stupid. And I think I was even living that during high school. You don't want to do something stupid, even though you're a good kid. That's that one person who gets caught in something, pretty soon your life has changed for the worse. So I would say keep grounded and keep a good sense about who you are, and don't let that peer pressure get to you. Obviously, stay off drugs is a big one. They hear that all the time anyway. I would just mimic that. And if they want to do a particular thing, they know what they want to do, or even something like I did, there's no reason you can't. Just stay straight, have a good time, and you can have a great time. Just make sure you make the right choices early on. Try not to stumble along that path.
And keep an open mind, so that even as you, who started off as a police officer, look where it opened up doors for you in a very different field than maybe you thought you were ever going to go.
Absolutely. There's no telling, kids seem to be so short-sighted these days. They can only see about 5 feet in front of them, but if you keep an open mind and then something like this happens, now you're automatically in that perfect place, which is how I feel every day. I consider myself blessed every day for being in that spot.
Very good. Still proud to be a Central grad?
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks.